So, seanachaí, or Irish storytelling, to me is a living art. I studied to be a drama therapist in Maynooth, and I had a very strong bent on the medicinal story. So I actually became a silversmith, and I made my own little necklace with scéalta lice on it. And I found when I was working in therapeutic practice that working through the Banfassa model, the Wise Woman of Ireland model, that there was an amazing array of resilience at our fingertips in the stories that already exist, but also in the weaving of memories from other times when people had to get through hard times. Well, I'm working with the Storytellers of Ireland. I sit on their committee, and we look at things through the Irish lens, but also through the European lens. And we find that sometimes stories can say the unsayable, and you can get into places that you couldn't possibly go with any other hat on. And as an ex European operations manager, it's absolutely amazing, the gates and the doors and the little, kind of gaps in the hedge that open up to you when you come in through storytelling. Also, interestingly, in talking to other storytellers in Europe, they look at Ireland and they say, how lucky are you to have a storytelling tradition that, stretches back millennia, because a lot of them lost their stories as borders changed or as wars happened. So that makes you very grateful for your storytelling traditions. And then, of course, we brought the Irish storytelling tradition to Marrakesh earlier this year, and that was amazing. There was 87 tellers from all over the world, from every continent, and 5 from Ireland. So there was 2 from Southern Ireland and 3 from Northern Ireland. And we just had a ball, melding our stories and sitting down and talking with one another. I think it's the great peacekeeping force of the world, storytelling. I suppose there's so many threads to your beautiful question there. One is storytelling classed as a traditional Irish art form? And right now it's not. I was very sad to see that in the Arts of Ireland, storytelling was not included, so that if you were a storyteller, you couldn't get that bursary that artists get, not in the first part anyway. So we're looking at that at the moment. That was a shock to my storytelling system. But also there was a huge silver lining to the COVID cloud for me in terms of storytelling. And that was because we took an ancient art form. We were closed down 3 days before St. Patrick's Day, and our work went up in smoke. It went into the Ceodriachta, into the magic mist of Ireland, and we thought, oh my God, what are we going to do? So Kerry Writers Museum, who have a very long history of supporting the arts and writing in particular, and who run a rambling house that has been going for over 50 years, they contacted me and they said, is there any way at all that you can get the Rambling House online during this period? And we all expected the COVID lockdown to be about a month at that time. So I said, of course I can. I hadn't a clue about Zoom or getting online at the time, but a lovely man from Toastmasters, Paul O'Mahony, stepped in and trained me in Zoom. And so we brought the storytelling online. And it was amazing what that opened up. Because during that time, we began to have story circles, which is story making and storytelling online. And sometimes people brought along their instruments. And we had a laugh because we said it's a little bit like the Muppet Show with all of the little screens. It looked like that scene from the Muppet Show long ago. But we actually had very special times, and we found that with the technology we were able to have breakout rooms and people connected and coalesced that way. I met people from the likes of Texas and America and all over the UK, Wales and Scotland that I would not have met otherwise. And we had, kind of these heavyweights of storytelling on one screen that you would never get under one roof. So that was a huge silver lining for us. And for me personally, I began to get recognised as a storyteller, and I said, and as a storytelling archivist. So we set up a rambling house in Sheehan's 300-year-old storytelling cottage. Jimmy Deanahan is the power behind that. And we began to, every time a storyteller came visiting either on Zoom or to Listowel itself, we'd bring them down to Fanug and we'd get them to tell a story. So now a rich vein of storytelling is available to everybody on YouTube because we've discovered technology. So it's just a new way of bringing the ancient art to a completely new audience, and it's been an amazing journey. I've loved it. We call it the journey of the story road. So yeah, to say that I had a favourite story would offend all my story children, so I can't possibly say that. There are days that I wake up and I need a sad story. There are days I wake up and I need the joy to be shouted from the top of the windows. And there is days when I need a bit of wisdom and I listen to the wind and I see what stories are whispered to us from nature or from the elders or the stories that my fellow storytellers tell me. So I in this moment I could say my favourite story this minute is, but it could be different in 2 minutes' time.
You have been listening to The Digital Hearth.